I never get tired of this subject, so I hope you don't as well. 3 reasons why you will never learn the truth regarding the obvious murder of Jeffrey Epstein. 3 reasons you'll never know the story behind Epstein's murder. Number 1, you have to have this happen. They want you to know. They're not hiding anything. They, and we'll get to the, who are they, or we can talk about this one forever. That one's anybody's guess. I don't think they have a location or a P.O. box. But I think we sort of kind of know. But in any event, and this is important, they want you to know that he was killed and murdered before your very eyes and without any hesitation whatsoever. They could have just disappeared him. He could have just, you didn't know who he was. Most people didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was. He could have been somewhere in the Alps, and you get this little blip that says, financier Jeffrey Epstein has been reported missing, or his body was found at the bottom of a mountain, or what appears to be a skiing accident. No foul play was reported. And nobody would say anything. Okay. Or he just disappears. Kind of like Kate Middleton, who, by the way, let me remind you, just disappeared. She could be dead as we speak, and nobody. This is a gaslighting, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. This is orchestrated. This is choreographed stuff. This is a complete psyop to make you wonder, am I crazy? Anyway, we'll get to that one on another video. But number 1, this is deliberate. They want you to know this. This is so, and believe me, the suicide, they could have made it a little bit better. Absolutely. But they wanted you to know that he was strangled, that it was his hyoid bone was fractured. Thyroid cartilage was fractured. The hyoid is this really interesting bone. That's the only bone, I believe, in the body that's not attached to anything. It's right under the mandible. And it's in the back. And in order to crush it, sometimes people will get like a karate chop to that neck. It's very difficult, if at all, to break it. And it was clearly the evidence of basically some anterior to posterior, choking. Remember, the chokehold here, this is not the stuff that Daniel Penny is charged with. This fellow, Eric, he was a fellow who died of asthma. They attempted to put a chokehold. It's not a choke, it's a carotid restraint, because you don't do that. This cuts off blood to the brain versus air. Anyway, number 1, they wanted you to do that. Number 2, they wanted everybody to understand that the extortion was over, that all of the videos, the hard drives, the thumbnails, the pictures, the recordings, because everything that he did, his entire apartment, his plane, everywhere that he went, everything that he did, everything was this, how do I say this? It was a recording studio. It's really, however you do it, it was a recording studio. His whole world, everything he did, it was a honeypot. It was extortion. It was designed to get the richest, most powerful, and most gullible people to do things that would be not just embarrassing, but illegal. You can't embarrass, let's say you were to embarrass Bill Gates, by pointing out that he had an affair. Doesn't matter. I think he already did. Doesn't matter. But if you wanted to get somebody who was the head of a country, or indeed somebody of Gates' stature, you've got to get him involved in something that's criminal as an underage woman. And you got to record it. And then you own him. And the third reason, which is the most important, The third reason, which is the most, how do we say this? The reason why you will never know about this is the fact that there is one thing that the government loves to do whenever it can, and that's to decide what not to tell you. They love it. It's the reason why you don't know really to this day about John Kennedy. It's the reason why nobody, even Bobby Kennedy, well, Bobby Kennedy kind of intimated a little bit, but why you really don't know the actual truth regarding Sirhan Sirhan. The government loves not to tell you anything. Has the government ever told you anything that's true? No. Have you ever heard anything the government ever said that's true? No. Whether it's UFOs, whether it's assassinations, whether it's anything. The reason why you'll never know is that they do not want you to know. And just like with the case, again, I bring it up, of Kate Middleton and others, they want you to be able to say, when we tell you we're not going to talk to you about this, we want you to become habituated and acclimated and accustomed to the fact that you will not know. Do not expect us to tell you what it is that we don't want you to know. So anytime we will just stop. We will not answer questions. We will not, there will be no question. For example, whatever happened, Jim Jordan, with all of these hearings with the guy from TikTok and the guy from Zuckerberg? Whatever happened to the hearings before Congress of the Major League Baseball players, McGuire and Palmeiro and Canseco and others, who about performance-enhancing drugs? Didn't they commit perjury? What about the tobacco executives in '90? I don't know what the hell that was. Who stood before the Congress? This is how long ago it was, and said, "We have no particular interest or no particular reason to believe that nicotine is addictive." What about them? See, the government loves to make you in a perpetual state of learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is when you are unable to control the environment that you live in. You're unable to control the world that you live in. You're unable to control anything. You have no say. You have no input. Nobody cares what you think. You're just like this dog that's been beaten or shocked or whipped. It just gives up. And the reason why you give up is because you have been, for so long, you have just been ignored. And you have believed the notion that these people are in charge versus you. Remember, the government is your servant. They work for you. They're your maid. They do lawn care. They wash your car. They work for you. And somehow through a complete change of fortune, which I do not understand, you have been led to believe that you work for them and that you must fear them. And someone said one time that good behavior, no, that the Constitution is not a reward for good behavior. That happens in jails and in prisons. All right, dear friends, keep asking questions. And whenever somebody says, hey, that's a conspiracy theory, you know you're right. Have a great and a glorious day, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Make sure you like this video. Our algorithms mean so much to push us out into the fast lane so other people can sample our work. And we ask you right now, as we always do, to comment as you see fit.